Jai Srimanarayana. Hello everyone, I'm the Pauranika. Welcome to the 69th episode of Sri Mahabharata as written by sage Vedavyasa. Dhritarashtra returned the entire wealth that Pandavas lost in the gamble to them. Then Pandavas had set on their journey back to their kingdom. In the meanwhile, Dushasana rushed to Duryodhana and complained, "O Maharadhas, this old man had returned all the wealth that we earned back to the enemies." Then Duryodhana, Karna, and Shakuni thought for a while, went to Dhritarashtra and spoke softly. Duryodhana said, "Father, Arjuna is the greatest warrior with no match to him in the entire world. If there was ever a match to Arjuna in the world, that was Kartavirya Arjuna of Haihaya lineage. Time and again he had displayed great valor. During Draupadi Swayamvaram, he defeated all the kings of the world. During his Tirtha Yatras, he married Nagakanya Ulupi and Krishna's sister Subhadra and rescued 5 Apsaras who were leading their lives as crocodiles. On the request of Agnideva, he fought the Devatas and helped Agni in burning the Khandava forest. He fought with many Rakshasas and Pisachas that were living in the forest. Finally, Devendra, who realized that he can't defeat Arjuna, surrendered to him. In his Jaitra Yatra, he won 9 places along with many prominent kingdoms of Jambudvipa in the north. He had many such great achievements. Thinking about Arjuna, my heart quivers in fear. In that fear, I see Arjuna everywhere and in everyone. I'm getting scared even if I see him in my dream. My fear of Arjuna led me to such a state that even when someone says Ashwa or Ardha or Aja or any other word that starts with A, I'm shivering in fear. Father, I fear no one but him. If we have to fight against Arjuna, that will be my end. Earlier, the fear Maricha had towards Rama, I have such fear of Arjuna. Then Dhritarashtra said, "Son, that's why do not do any such deed that would offend Arjuna. Treat your brothers with respect and affection." Then Duryodhana said, "We have deceived them in the gamble, so we must find a way to kill Arjuna. Else our end will be soon and inevitable. What is wrong if we use Pandava's wealth to turn the kings against them? I heard that while leaving, Arjuna held his Ghandiva and wore his 2 quivers. I heard that Bhima was carrying a mighty mace. Nakula held a sword and a shield, and Yudhishthira and Sahadeva were very clear on their course of action. They have started to gather forces against us. Please call them back. This time, we will give 12 years of Vanavasa followed by 1 year of Agyatavasa as the bet." As Duryodhana tried to convince his father, Bhishma, Drona, Vidura, Krupa, Bahlika, Somadatta, Yuyutsu, Vikarna, Ashwadhama tried to suggest otherwise, but the king did not budge in. Even Gandhari tried to convince her husband but failed. Then Dhritarashtra sent a messenger to ask the Pandavas to return to the court for one more game of dice. Yudhishthira, on hearing the message from his uncle, chose to follow his order and return to the Sabha for a final game. He said, "Despite knowing the consequences of his actions, Dhritarashtra had ordered us for another game. Despite knowing the consequences, I can't refuse his order." Upon the arrival of Pandavas, Shakuni told the rules to Yudhishthira. He said, "Yudhishthira, though you have the wealth that was returned to you by King Dhritarashtra, let's keep only one bet for one final game. The one who loses have to go on a 12-year Aranyavasa living in the forest, followed by 1 year Agyatavasa where they should live among people without revealing their true identity. If the identity gets revealed, they need to repeat the Aranyavasa and Agyatavasa again." Upon hearing this, there was an uproar among the audience. The king spoke among themselves. What is Yudhishthira thinking? Does he know what this will lead to? "Shakuni, after being invited, I must not decline. I will play with you," said Yudhishthira. Shakuni rolled the dice and announced, "I won it." Pandavas wore the garbs made of animal skin and got ready to leave for the forest. Then Dushasana said, Duryodhana became the emperor and the Pandavas lost everything. It was foolish of Drupada to give his daughter to Pandavas. Her husbands became eunuchs. Yagiseni, how can you live happily with these Pandavas who will be roaming in forests in animal skin? Choose one of the Kauravas as your husband. Bhima roared angrily and came on to Dushasana. He reiterated his promise and said, For all the insults that you have put Draupadi through, I will rip your heart. Then Dushasana stood among the Kauravas, laughed and called him a bull again and again. As Bhima started to walk out behind his brother Yudhishthira, Duryodhana tried to mimic and mock the lion gait of Bhimasena. Then Bhima turned half of his body around and said, I am going to be the end of all the Dhartarashtras. I am going to kill Duryodhana and my brother Arjuna is going to kill Karna. Sahadeva will kill this conniving gambler Shakuni. Then Arjuna said, While it is not wise to speak about what we are going to do, 14 years from now, people will see what is going to happen. For always conspiring against us and for trying to hurt us time and again, upon your order, I will kill Karna and his followers. If any deluded one tries to stand against me, they shall also meet the same misfortune. If after 14 years, if Duryodhana doesn't repent his mistakes, this is bound to happen. Then Sahadeva rose up and said, For all the sins he had committed, if Shakuni musters up the courage to stay in the battlefield, I will kill him. Then Nakula said, We will destroy all those who insulted Draupadi in this Sabha. We will make the earth free from Dhartarashtras. Then the best of men Yudhishthira spoke. I am taking leave from all the descendants of Bharata lineage. Bhishma, King Bahlika, King Somadatta, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Ashwadhama, Vidura, King Dhritarashtra, Dhartarashtras, Yuyutsu, Sanjaya, and other kings of this assembly. I take your leave. Will meet you once I return. Kauravas who felt ashamed of their actions couldn't speak a word back to Yudhishthira. Vidura then suggested that he would host Kunti at his house as it would be tough on the old lady to set on Vanavasa. Yudhishthira accepted the suggestion. Vidura said, Son, remember, one should not feel sad for losing by deceit. You know the dharma. Arjuna can win any battle. No one can stand against Bhimasena. Nakula can accumulate wealth and resources and Sahadeva is the patient one. Your mere presence causes fear in the hearts of enemies and your people love you. Yudhishthira, you obtained great knowledge from Meru Savarni, Krishna Dvaipayana, Parasurama, sage Asita and Lord Parameshwara. You are a student of sage Bhrigu and sage Narada always looks after you and this great man Dhaumya is your priest. Never leave the knowledge you obtained from them. Then Draupadi took her leave from Kunti. Kunti said, I don't want to stay away from my sons. I am the unfortunate one who was cursed to live in this world to see the hardships of my sons. King Pandu was fortunate enough to not see this day. The blessed one Madri followed our husband in death and attained great worlds. Draupadi, take care of Sahadeva. Follow Dharma. She cried praying for Krishna Paramatma as Pandavas along with Draupadi started to the forest. Then Kunti cried, Sahadeva, at least you stay back with me. Let your brothers go. Come back, son. Then Vidura, who was also crying, consoled her and took her into the house. The people of the kingdom decided to leave everything and follow King Yudhishthira. They said, Let's dug our houses and gather all the wealth and food. Let's leave this kingdom and let's follow our king. Let that gambler take our houses too. Look at Draupadi. She used to wear the best of clothes and smear sandalwood paste on her body. How will such Draupadi live like this? What courage should Kunti have garnered to send her sons off? One cannot see the hardships of an evil son. Here, the sons are conquerors of the world. How can a mother bear to see their hardships? All the women looked at Draupadi, who was walking along with the Pandavas from their houses. She was in her periods. She had her hair untied and she was weeping. Her garment had blood stains on it. Women who looked at the sight cried uncontrollably. Then Vidura was summoned by Dhritarashtra to his palace and he was asked by the king to explain how Pandavas left the forest. Vidura said to Dhritarashtra, King, Yudhishthira walked by closing his face with a cloth to make sure that the people of the kingdom who did no sin must not burn under his angry gaze. Bhimasena walked by looking at his arms, indicating that he would crush your sons with those arms one day. Arjuna walked by throwing sand, indicating that he would shower as many arrows as the particles of the sand on the enemies. In order to hide their identities, Nakula applied dust to his body and Sahadeva applied soil to his face. Draupadi covered her face with her untied hair and walked behind the Pandavas crying. Their priest Dhaumya walked along with them while singing the Samaveda in relation to Yama, indicating that when the Kauravas die, their teachers would also do the same Samagana. As the best of men walked out of the kingdom, the cloudless sky thundered, earth quaked, comets fell on the city, animals started leaving pieces of meat in sacred places like temples and yagasalas. Sage Narada stood at the center of the Sabha and angrily said that the Kauravas are going to end due to the evil deeds of Duryodhana. After speaking so, he flew up into the sky and vanished. Vidura said. After hearing from Vidura that the people of the kingdom too are distraught at the situation of the Pandavas, Dhritarashtra fainted. Then Duryodhana, along with Dushasana, Karna, and Shakuni, came to him and submitted the entire kingdom to Dhritarashtra. After Pandavas left for the forest, Dhritarashtra sat in his palace sadly. Then Sanjaya entered and asked, Maharaja, after taking the entire kingdom of the Pandavas and sending them to forest, what are you worried about? Dhritarashtra said, how can anyone be peaceful after a rift with Pandavas? Then Sanjaya said, you have gotten this upon yourself by succumbing to the pressures of your scheming sons. In 14 years, due to the mistakes of Duryodhana, you are going to witness a great war where Bhima, like Yama, will cause the end of your sons and Arjuna, with his valor, will win the battle. With this, we have completed the Sabha Parva. Thank you. Jai Sriman Narayana.